Good evening and welcome to MHTV's Headliner. I'm John Caswell. On February 11th, the Marblehead Zoning Board of Appeals continued their public hearing on the 263 to 269 Pleasant Street project, known as the Mariner Senior Living Facility. Here are the highlights from the meeting.
This is a continued hearing on the application of 263 through 269 Pleasant Street LLC for a special permit for an assisted living facility located at 263 through 269 Pleasant Street. We're going to pick up where we left off, and that was we had opened the hearing to anybody who wanted to speak in opposition to the petition.
Does this make sense for Marblehead to take on the considerable risk that would accompany the Mariner in order to reward A, the far less than 1% of the total town population who just might get to live there and who may discover after the fact that the facility does not provide the promised lifestyle, and B, a handful of investors who seek huge profits in a possibly contracting market and who would dare to submit a heavily redacted management contract to the ZBA? Is this need so essential as to require jeopardizing this very nature of Marblehead with the largest construction project the town has ever known? I submit that granting the Mariner an exception to single residence zoning would be a reckless action, serving the very few at the expense of the many while imposing irreparable harm on this beautiful and historic town. I therefore respectfully urge that the Zoning Board of Appeals deny this application forthwith.
What I ask is that the Zoning Board please protect the citizens of the Mohawk Road area from the investors that basically are driven by greed. They are building a massive building the size of the YMCA on a plot that is not of the same size. So the question is, the people who are opposing this are said to be selfish, and I'm sort of wondering who actually are the selfish people here. I'm not sure there are many people sitting in this audience that would be happy with a parking lot 15 feet from your yard. If in fact the building were, as they said in their piece, within the same footprint and maybe even the adjoining foundation, I'm sure we would be having a very different discussion. But because they need to maximize their profits to the extent that they can on this property, we're faced with this problem.
The first and foremost is that the residential character of the neighborhood that I've lived in for 12 years on Mohawk Road, will be grossly and negatively affected by this enormous and very tall facility and a commercial facility, not a single-family residential facility. That's my number one objection. The noise level will be a constant irritant to me and the neighbors in the area, just due to the car and truck traffic associated with the facility, the visitors, the workers, and the residents themselves. Additionally, there'll be light pollution from the facility, and particularly from cars and trucks entering and leaving the facility high on the hill. I feel the increased traffic density due to the Mariner facility will escalate the pedestrian and automobile accident potential at that critical intersection of Mohawk and Pleasant Street, which has been a site of many accidents.
You know, any such facility as this is approved, demand that there's a smoking ban on the property. I mean, this property is going to be within 15 feet of my porch. When you guys did the walkthrough, you saw my porch right next door. I have the largest property line, you know, parking. We were told that by the people that will be running the facility, Northridge, that smoking should be done at their cars, and that'll impact us, right? We don't have that problem today. We didn't have that problem in the past, where there will be people talking on their phones, smoking. That's right by our porch. That's right where we relax, where we entertain, where we eat our meals. We would appreciate that.
The Mariner Assisted Living Project may be the largest commercial for-profit project that has ever been proposed for Marblehead. If this exception is approved, it's the abutters that will have to live with that view. The noise, the lights, for the rest of their lives.
The very character of the surrounding neighborhood will be changed forever, should you give your approval for its construction. The proposed Mariner development is a commercial use within a residential neighborhood, and as such should be scrutinized as a source of pollution far above what would be present with single-family home developments, which would produce far fewer obnoxious uses, including less traffic, less light, and less noise. So who will bear the long-term costs? It is the hundreds of neighbors, your neighbors, men, women, children, young and senior alike, who will be affected by building such a large commercial 24/7 complex in the middle of their residential neighborhood. It is only natural, not selfish, as some have insinuated, to want to protect those collective resources of a neighborhood.
How ironic it is that mine and my neighbor's constitutional rights are being trampled if this special permit is allowed to change from a single residential neighborhood. With all sincerity, I am asking the ZBA board members to unanimously vote no on granting the Mariner project a special permit.
You know, some might argue that this is a NIMBY, not in my backyard issue. Well, it depends on what you're putting in someone's backyard. You know, they've picked about the most detrimental use I can think of and trying to put it there. Unless Chief Piccarello wants to build a firing range so his officers can practice their marksmanship up there. Gee, I can't think of anything any worse than this.
So what I'm asking for you to do tonight is to vote yes or no, and not have it continue on, you know, for the rest of time. So these people who, you know, might want to renegotiate a mortgage, might want to sell their house, they can do that. They can take the value of their property and use it. Right now, it's frozen.
We do need this in the town, and even though I'm a minority, or one of the 1,000, or whatever they're saying, I do count. We do count. The town needs this. And like I say, the developers have gone over backward, have answered all my questions, and I think they have the credentials, if I will, to say what they're saying, which I think is a positive thing for Marblehead and all told.
There's been a lot said to us this evening, and I think the proponents for the project, the applicant, I think needs to spend some time to give us in-depth answers. So I would like to give Paul an opportunity to speak next time.
So is there a motion to adjourn to the 7th of March?
Yes.
Okay. And do we know the location?
Here. Second that motion and amend it to make it here at 7:30.
All right, so there's a motion to continue this hearing till March 7th at this same location, and that motion was seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you. So everybody knows at that hearing, we will hear from Mr. Lynch. We will then close public hearing, and then the board will enter into deliberations.